We okay? Okay, so let's start. Hello guys and girls. How are you feeling out there? All good? Yeah, okay. It looks like there's still some energy, besides the fact that this is the second day and actually the middle of the second day. So we might feel a little bit overwhelmed with this all conference stuff. But yeah, this is okay. So please allow me to introduce myself. My name is ŁUKASZ NOWAK. And some of you recognize like me from testing workshop that took place 2 days ago. But also some of you may recognize my face from this conference, actually, just because I like the React Alicante vibe. And this is my 5th edition here, and the second one, which is on this side of the stage. Today I'd like to tell you a short story I have faced some time ago. Like, I've been working on this application, which has been identifying client using cookies. A little bit simpler task than what Kate was talking about, but yeah, quite a common case, right? So, to develop this application, I could manage cookies by tons of plugins available out there, but I must admit that sometimes I am kind of resistive to new technologies, and I've been doing that manually using Chrome DevTools every day. And it just happened that around this period, I have attended a talk focused on developing browser extensions. And an author mentioned cookie management as a use case for them. And at this moment, a brilliant idea started to drill my mind. Like, why should I spend 10 minutes of my precious life just, searching through ready-to-use, free, and sometimes enterprise-class solutions if I can secure the whole week just trying to, develop the own clunky one? Like, this is the way that we skills up, right? This is the way. So the most important outcome for me was that extensions are written in JavaScript. When it comes to browser compatibility, it strongly depends on their engine. So Chrome and Edge usually are aligned just because they are children of Chromium. However, Firefox uses Gecko, so the compatibility might be scratchy and a little bit itchy here. And just for your information, the example I will walk us through is crafted for Chrome. If you want to go pro, the topic will become a complex thing. This is just because it tingles content security, integration with browser stores, releases process, and stuff like this. This would be secured by dedicated talk, the longer one, and probably hosted by a more professional person than me who knows it a little bit better. However, if you just want to impress your colleagues by creating a Hello World browser extension, this is a very simple, there is a simple solution for that too. Like, all you must do is to switch this developer mode, which opens the Sesame to all types of insecurities you would like to play with. And then just provide the unpacked version of your extension, get to the extensions details page, pin it to the toolbar, and bish bash bosh, you are part of the matrix right now. If you build a new version of your extension, you may refresh that by clicking this reload button and enjoy the upgraded version, as simple as it is. But the main question is, what are those browser extensions actually? Well, just to make it in a few words, they are nothing else than the backdoors for web pages. They allow to play with parts of them pretty any way you want, and this is why I mentioned some insecurities several moments ago. And although it sounds like a hacker's wet dream, there are some security precautions applied. Like, as a developer, you must mark all APIs you want to use and URLs of pages you want to play with. You will do that on the manifest.json file, which in short is something like a package.json of our React applications. And in fact, I know I do trivialize its purpose and overall security topic right now, but hello, this is the lightning talk, right? Like, I'm supposed to let you know something is out there, and if you found it interesting, you can call Mulder and Scully and investigate them with them later, this, secret artifact after the conference. So, if you would like to get your hands dirty, initially you may find it difficult if you're used to our modern development. I mean, just have a look at this piece of the code proposed by Google itself. Like, this is so old that I called it a Jumanji script instead of JavaScript. No surprises, I struggled for an evening not being able to develop even a single thing, right? And after that, I found a solution so obvious that I felt humiliated that I didn't get it at the first place. I mean, user interfaces of extensions can be developed as React single-page application and bundled via Vite. Like, now we can talk my language like she sells t-shirts and stuff, right? So, all I could do right now is to focus on understanding how the Chrome API works. Unfortunately, there was no access to the console. All I could do at this time was to bundle the UI, refresh the extension, and check if it worked again and again. So I thought to myself, maybe I could display the extension UI on the dev mode and then manipulate cookie locally. Well, it didn't work completely for the first time, and it was for the very trivial reason, like, bro, Chrome Extensions API is available for extensions only, right? Not for a local development. So I abstracted the environment complication away by using adapter pattern, and then I could focus on facading the functionality and then develop the adapters whenever I was ready for. After a few more evenings, I was ready with POC cool enough covering 3 or 4 trivial functionalities, and that could end up my presentation in 6 minutes, which would be the record of the conference. However, probably you noticed the blue button at the bottom of this UI. Do you want to know what is it for? Yes. Yeah. If you do, just buckle up. Just because I'm going to show you the most crazy use case of a testing library ever. I mean, I believe that maybe candidates would consider it a cool tool again. So let's say my single-page application is a stepper user journey. It doesn't persist its state, so I can access it only from the first page. When it comes to longer journeys, like let's say 18 or 20-something steps, just, traveling to the middle of it is about 15 up to 20 seconds, most boring seconds of my entire life, or something like that. So I've got this another brilliant idea. Why not to spend 1 more week trying to automate it? I mean, I'd love to have a magical button clicking me through the journey up to the step I currently develop. The initial idea was simple. Just fill forms and click buttons. Unfortunately, security consideration was quite complicated, made it quite complicated, I must admit. This is because the WWW acronym should stand for World Wide Web, not the Wild Wide West. So for security reasons, we just can't manipulate elements on the random pages. Instead, we can communicate with them via standardized API. From browser extension perspective, this communication is triggered by send message button function. We only must identify a tab which should receive such a message. Then we must create a dedicated script listening for incoming messages and running executable to handle them. We only must remember to add it to the extension pack as so-called content script. Then the extension engine is going to inject it into the page so the executable has access to elements. I must admit that it requires a little bit of technological acrobatics. I mean, as we don't use the Jumanji scripting anymore, the functionality to inject is written in TypeScript with the full-blown modern development approach. On the other side, extension expects a single JavaScript file, so it has to be bundled like it was the standalone JavaScript package. After a little bit of reading, I found that Vite can build many packages out of a single project. It just requires separate Vite config passed as an argument to the build command, and that's how I compiled UI and content scripts separately, which was the coolest thing I could ever imagine. The config itself also requires a little bit of investigation. Just to make the long story short, this was for including all third-party dependencies the way the extension engine could understand. And all those efforts was to make my crazy idea a real thing. I mean, the listener should receive a simple commands in form of textual parameters. Their shape reflects what I wanted to do with the application. And I wanted to use testing libraries selectors to find an element and then perform a user event action on it. Like it was integration test scenario, but I'm doing that on a real web page. Surprised, aren't you? I mean, it's kind of freaky, but it proves that we can use testing library even against the real web pages. But okay, this was from extensions perspective. But before I bundle it, I'd love to know if I develop the clickology the right way. So I'd like to have an extension and the application somewhere near, just to see which step will this blue button take me to. And here is it, just to save the day again. It provides interesting functionality of multiple in-text HTML files. This way I could sidedoor my extension by adding new visual elements or scripts. That's how I was able to add an iframe containing dev mode of a stepper application. The brilliant trick here is that alternate index HTML files are side doors only for developers. By default, they will never get to the production bundle, which is a cool thing. The only thing is that the iframe has to lose its security precautions a little bit just to be able to receive communications from its parent, which basically is okay when it comes to, as long as it is for debugging purposes only, right? And the communication itself is being sent by post-message API code on a content window object of an iframe. And similar to the extension, I must attach an event listener to translate the communication into actions. This time, however, I must do it on my own. And the sidedoor pattern was handy once again, so I did it via alternate URL. So as you can see, when I click the button, it triggers communication through different APIs depending on environments. The message then is executed by a unified action handler with elegant help of testing library functions. And the scenario of such a journey becomes simple and adjustable solution like this piece of code. I'm just sending parameters which represents actions to be taken on the application. Et voila. And finally, just to be honest with you, I didn't deliver the clickology to the project. I finished with trivial cases like cookie management and URL manipulations. Nevertheless, it helped my 3 colleagues to save about 7 seconds of their daily works, I would say. Something like that. But you know what? They love it. I mean, even if it was only a few seconds, this was our own tool helping us to automate some repetitive works. Now, think of your company. Maybe you have some processes where developers, testers, and product owners have to go through every day. Maybe you may become a local hero by automating it too. Well, at least the example repository brings some framework just to let you know how to do that. The QR code displayed is on the screen, links to it. I hope this short talk was kind of inspiring to you. Thank you for your attention and see you next year.